Yeah, in reference to Coastal Carolina, I thought a great college football game. Really felt like a heavyweight bout back and forth throughout the game, featuring two of the better quarterbacks in our league. Coming out of that game, if you would have told me we outrushed Coastal Carolina and the turnovers were tied versus a very opportunistic defense that had proven before, 14 total turnovers, I would have told you we won the game. Looking back at it, I thought the true difference in the game were two areas. One, I thought we did a terrific job in the first half defensively, eliminating explosive plays. There was a total of one explosive play in the first half. In the second half, there were 6 and 5 in the last 12 minutes of the game. That combined with, I thought offensively, man, some great adjustments at halftime. Both teams are 7-7 at halftime. Really thought Coach Ellis and staff did a nice job of putting a plan together for the second half and making some adjustments that you look out, and we're 5 for 5 on the first 5 drives in scoring. The problem is the last 2 drives were field goals, and the field goals over the touchdowns and at the end of the game meant the difference. Usually when you get 2 really good teams together, it's usually decided in the last 5 minutes of the game. And in this game, credit to Coach and his team at Coastal. They did a nice job of out-executing us and making one more play than us, and credit to a really good quarterback in Grayson. Got a lot of respect for that young man. He's an exceptional player. It's time to put that one behind us and move on to what's a really important game this week in conference, as well as a great rivalry game between our 2 great universities here in the state of Georgia, and looking forward to it. It's my first opportunity to be a part of that rivalry, so excited to have the chance to compete in Atlanta. With that, I'll answer any questions that you have.
Coach, haven't had a chance to talk to you after the game. I know you don't want to beat a dead horse, and in hindsight's 2020, but the field goal there at the end, you go for the field goal, and you've been known to go for 4th downs quite a bit. Can you take us through that process, and were you feeling confident that your defense could stop them even though they had struggled to that point?
Yeah, when you look at the time clock, one of the biggest decisions was there was a couple factors that played into it. One was they were out of timeouts. They had exhausted all their timeouts, which puts you in a hard situation. Thought there should have been some more time off the clock. We had a mechanical issue official-wise when the ball went out of bounds with over 2 minutes. The game clock should have been running, which would have gone another 25 seconds off of the game clock. But we're looking at being up in the game with them with limited timeouts. You got a 4th and 3, 4th and 3 rather than a 4th and 1 and 2 with a field goal kicker that has been perfect. So to be able to go up in that game, to have the opportunity for them to have no timeouts and have the opportunity for our defense to go win a football game, especially with our kick coverage, how it had been. And you go out there and you kick the ball and it's on the 17-yard line. You feel good about your chances, but credit them. They made 2 really big plays in that game, in that last drive. One on the long pass first man coverage down the boundary, and then an exceptional run by the running back and an advantage coverage to run the ball.
It seemed like you guys had them stopped. I know you're not going to get into whether a call was the right call or not, but I know that was frustrating. But with your defense, you mentioned that was a concern because they played so well in the first half. What happened in the second half, especially in the last 16 minutes where it looked like they were fairly scoring at will?
Yeah, Grayson McCall happened. He is an exceptional player. Our first chance to be able to see him, I got a lot of respect for him coming out of that game. Those were 2 of the better quarterbacks in our league and 2 of the better quarterbacks in the country competing against each other. And I thought both did a phenomenal job in the game. They don't make a lot of mistakes, either one of them. And Grayson down there, I thought really, played with a lot of competitiveness and made his throws against, I thought our defensive front probably had their best game of the year, both from a physicality standpoint, getting to the quarterback, got 2 sacks in the game, got Grayson off his spot a lot of times, and credit to him. I thought he threw accurate balls down the stretch, and we put our kids in some one-on-one matchups, and their kids made plays. And so that's usually what happens when you end up in a 4-point game. One team made a couple more plays than the other, and they did down the stretch over us.
Could you talk about the rushing statistics from Saturday's game? When you look at Jalen White, the success that he's had not only Saturday but all season long, what can you say about him, Coach Merritt, and the running back room?
Yeah, there was a lot of confidence not only in the running back room but also in our offensive line, and so it's one of the reasons that you look at that 4th and 1, and really originally we thought it was 4th and 2 and sent the field goal team, and then I walked down past the 20 a little bit and saw, man, that's closer to 1. And had the opportunity to get Jalen and that offensive line back out there and score a huge touchdown. That whole room, whether it's Jalen, Gerald, Amari, probably the most productive group on our team right now as far as a room goes, and really doing some nice things. They were challenged after the first game, thought they really could play better and to a higher standard, and ever since that first game, they have lived that each and every week. So credit to them, credit to our offensive line. I really, in the last 2 games, we played 2 really good run football teams and have outrushed our opponent in both those games, and that's what you hope to see. A run game is the best friend to a quarterback and takes a lot of pressure off of Kyle, and